Welcome everybody to Honors Chemistry for a new year. I'm excited to meet all of you guys and get rolling with our year. This is the first of several different video lectures that you'll be having throughout the year, in which you'll be basically watching a video of me or a colleague of mine going through some content, some information that you are responsible for, and then we will use that content or information to help us with either some practice stuff in class or do some other stuff as we go through our year. The purpose of today's video is to introduce you to the class, walk through the syllabus with you, and also show you how to set up most of your week one things that we do in honors chemistry. So we'll get going right away. First thing we need to be able to do is get to the Egan High School Honors Chemistry webpage. One thing you need to be aware of is that we run the majority of our class through this webpage. All your calendars, announcements, some of your assignments, everything comes off of this webpage. So the way we get there is if we go to the Egan High School page, you would go to academics, down to science, and then don't click on chemistry, but instead click on honors chemistry. And if your website has a pop-up blocker, you'll get this message to click here if you have a pop-up blocker. If you don't have a pop-up blocker turned on, it'll go directly to the site. So I'm going to click here because I do have pop-up blockers on mine, and here is the Honors Chemistry site. This is built using Google Sites, so if you've worked with that or seen that before, it should look familiar to you for that reason. And we're going to kind of look at the site, and we'll start with our syllabus for the year. So under the left-hand sidebar here, we have our curriculum, and within that, we're going to be covering 15 different units this year. And we have the kind of a beginning of the year information, and then our first unit is all about chemistry and matter. Below that, we have the essential learnings for the year. So if you are curious, or if you have a guardian or parent who wants to basically look at what are the key things throughout the entire year, big picture stuff that we're learning, these are those big picture items outlined here for you and your parents or guardians. And then underneath that, we have our syllabus. So we'll take a minute and walk through the syllabus. I will not be going through this in class. So this is the time that you get to get this information. And then in class, I will answer questions on this only. First of all, I have my contact information here for you guys. There's email, my voicemail, and then something that might be different or new to you guys is a texting phone number for you guys. This is a Google phone number in which if you have a question or you need some help with something and you want to contact me after hours or not during class time, you can send a text message to this phone number right here, 651-560-0196. It is an option there that will probably get a faster response than if you try to call my voicemail or even send it directly to my email. It's just a little bit faster way of doing that, and maybe more convenient for you because if you work on your phones, you guys have those with you more often. Here's our goals. You can read through these on your own in terms of what we want to do, but we're basically taking this idea and we're going to apply our chemical knowledge. We're going to extend that knowledge. We're going to work on problem-solving skills, independent thinking. I really want to prepare you guys for your future in terms of college science courses, chemistry courses. Get a little appreciation for the world of chemistry and how it kind of works in your daily lives. And then, of course, get some enthusiasm for chemistry and the sciences in general, because this is going to be a challenging class, but at the same time, it should be a lot of fun as we go through it. One of the unfortunate things about the state in which we're in right now is we are not funded 100% for all the stuff that I want to do with you guys throughout the year. We do literally hundreds of demonstrations throughout the year, multiple labs. We do a lot of stuff getting your hands into lab and working. And for me to be able to handle that and pay for all that for our funding, I do ask for a donation. This is a donation. It's not required. And we are asking for a $10 donation to be given to the course. The money is used to replace broken glassware, add bonus labs. We actually do some kind of unique, interesting, different labs you would not normally do if we didn't have this extra money. We've been using it to upgrade our equipment, sanitation supplies, and then it allows me to do bigger and better demonstrations also for you guys throughout the year. If we don't get the funding and the donations don't come in, then we just start cutting from our program in terms of that stuff. And usually those bonus labs and those more fun things get cut. And then also one of the things that we are required to do is then fine for lab equipment breakage. Right now, if you're working in lab and you break something and it was just part of the lab, it was an accident or nothing that was done because of misuse, we don't charge for any broken glassware because we are able to cover that through these donations. However, if that doesn't happen, we may have to start implementing a fine system, which I would rather not do. So if you can, please take care of the donation by the first Friday of the year. My expectations, I don't have a lot. If you take a look, it's just, biggest thing, be safe when we're in lab, be on time. Please be an active learner, not passive. The more you intertwine with me and talk and work in the class, the better it is, learning experience it is for you. Please give me the respect, and then you'll also earn my respect back in return. And then be responsible for your actions, and then take that responsibility as we go through. And then biggest thing for me is come to class with a positive attitude each day. We're going to have times in here where we're having a ton of fun. There's some of the really cool things I can show you in terms of chemistry. And there's going to be days where we're going to have to get down and really work hard. So if you're coming in with a positive attitude, that really helps out everybody. My policy on mobile devices, smartphones, tablets, laptops might be a little different than your traditional classroom. First of all, we're going to use them in my class. So I will be asking if it's okay with your family and the people who help pay for those devices to bring those devices into class. So iPads, smartphones, laptops, tablets of any sort, anything, iPod touches, anything that can get on the Wi-Fi, we will be using them as part of our curriculum this year and using them as part of the learning environment. So if it's possible, be prepared to bring some of that stuff to class and utilize it in class. Now with that means there's also some extra responsibility you guys have in terms of maintaining them, making sure they are charged, making sure that they don't get lost, making sure that you're keeping them secure from other students when you're not in this class. Excuse me. And then also the responsibility of making sure you're not using them for non-curriculum related reasons. So the way I've done it in the past, and it's worked well, if you're using that for a curriculum related use, meaning something for chemistry and not doing your math during my chemistry class on your iPad, that's what it's for. And you're welcome to bring them in, take your notes on them, do what you want to do with those kind of things, use them as part of our learning experience. If you're not, then we basically send referrals like you would for any other class in terms of misuse of technology in the classroom. One thing about that, test quiz days, mobile devices, we do have those completely turned off and we don't bring them on those days. So we will not have access to those kind of things on those days. Having a device turned on or being used during a testing day is considered cheating, and you'll get 0 credit for that. So be aware of that. Probably a little bit more open of a policy than most classes, but also that comes with some responsibility. My extra credit in this class, there is no extra credit. And I always tell my students, if you wanted to do extra credit, just spend more time on a normal assignment and get more points that way. So there is no option of that. It doesn't exist in my curriculum for any purpose or any reason. So there is just none. Grading. I break my grading down in 3 different categories. Formative assessments, laboratory assessments, and then summative. Formative is a fancy teacher word for while you are learning. So the things we do in class, little mini quizzes, some book assignments, some worksheet stuff, things that we do in class while you are learning the content, that all comes underneath formative. Laboratory is what it sounds like. Anything we do that's lab-based, lab quizzes, lab assignments, lab reports, lab worksheets, those kind of things all fall underneath this 20%. And then the biggest chunk comes from a summative assessment. And summative is kind of how it sounds also. It's the sum, or it's the ending of a unit or of a trimester. So summative is our unit test. And that holds the bulk of your percentage, which is 70% of the grade is those summative tests. My grading scale breaks down as follows. 93.0 and above is an A. Anything below 93.0, so a 92.9 is an A minus. So if you want to get an A, you can't get a 92.5. It's got to be 92.9 and above, gives you an A. So basically a 93.0 And then besides that, it follows a pretty normal grading pattern for Egan High School in terms of the percentages. Be aware of that. Late work. My expectation is that you're in an honors course and that you will not have issues with late work. So please keep up with that and take care of that by their due dates. If you do have a busy schedule, please plan ahead, talk to me, communicate with me, and make sure everything is coming in on time. I work with students on a one-on-one basis if expectation is not met, and then we have figured out ways to make that work so the expectation does become met in terms of late work. Finals, we have finals all year, every year, and things are cumulative in honors chemistry, so keep your material from trimester 1 to trimester 2, because chemistry is a building science, which means the things we learn in the first trimester are things that you're going to need to work in second trimester and so forth. So each final does accumulate the content from the previous trimester. So the end of the year final has all 3 trimesters of material on it. So please keep your materials. Excused absence, not pre-planned. So if you don't know you're going to be gone, you're sick, something happens in the evening where you can't plan ahead, please make sure you check our calendar, that you come back to class knowing what you missed and knowing what you have to do to get caught up. If we do have assignments given on a day you're gone, if you need extended time, you must talk to me about that the day you return. If you are gone a day something is due, okay. A lot of our assignments get turned in online, so we submit them through Google Docs, or we do those through partners, or it might be an online type of quiz. You can submit that from home on the due date, or if you aren't able to do that, the day you return, you bring the assignment in at that point instead, okay? Labs, if you're gone on a day of a lab, your lab partner takes care of it for you in terms of doing the lab. You are responsible to get the content from him or her and then work with them on making the report. So you don't need to make up the physical part of labs, but you are responsible for talking to your lab partner and catching that information, especially if we have a lab quiz that correlates with what was done in lab. And then exam and quizzes, I always say that the day you come back is you've come back to school because you're now healthy and ready to go back to school. So that means you were able to prepare for a test, or you're healthy enough the night before to prepare for that. So the day you return, I'll expect that you'll take that test when you come back if you miss a test or quiz for my class. As always, if you have extended leaves, you're sick for several days, something comes up in the nature of a family emergency, just communicate with me and we can make sure we take care of any of those type of assignments, those kind of things. Pre-planned absences, these happen. College visits, vacations, sports events, those kind of things. Please talk to me ahead of time and then schedule things ahead of time to take care of those things. It makes it a lot less stressful for you and for me. And then last but not least, here's our yearly outline. So trimester 1, we head through 5 different units, cover 9 different chapters, or actually cover 7 different chapters because we skip a couple in the middle there for our first trimester. Trimester 2, we have another 5 units covering several more chapters. And then trimester 3, we work through the rest of the units and those kind of things. This is our ultimate goal. Depending on the year, depending on the class, we don't always get to redox and electrochemistry, or we don't always do nuclear chemistry, but we always get at minimum through the acid-base chemistry unit. And then these units 14 and 15, depending on how the year falls down, may or may not be taught. So we try to get to them, but we don't always get that far in terms of that. So guys, that is the basics behind the syllabus. It's pretty straightforward. There's not a lot of information there, but you are responsible for understanding those kind of things. Tomorrow in class, when you come back on Wednesday, the first thing we'll do is I'll ask you if you have any questions about the syllabus or things we talked about or I talked about in this video. And please, speak up and ask your questions then, because we will follow up my question session with our first quiz of the year, making sure you watch this video and making sure that you understand the key things from the syllabus, those kind of things. So things like how much extra credit do we have, or how do I grade things? These are kind of key pieces of things you should remember for tomorrow. So if I ask you what percentage is extra credit, you'll say none. There's no extra credit on a quiz, something like that. Okay. That is everything I have for this video lecture. If you have any questions, jot them down, write them down. Be prepared beginning of class on Wednesday to ask me questions on this. On Tuesday, the first day of school, we'll introduce this to you and have you guys basically get the basics behind how to get to the website and watch this video. So your first assignment is to watch this video as we go through. All right, guys, thank you.